Welcome to the Waldorf Astoria Maldives, Hilton's #1 flagship in the world out of more than 9,000 hotels. The Waldorf is their iconic luxury brand, and their Maldives property is their crown jewel. Today we'll look at transportation, one of the rooms, food options, activities, and pretty much everything you need to know before your visit. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, and if you want to upgrade your travel, consider subscribing. As a background, this is from the time capsule and part 5 of our Maldives trip, which included Sri Lankan business class and stays at the St. Regis, W Hotels, and Holiday Inn Resort. If this is your first destination, they'll usually have someone greeting you after customs. If this is hotel number 2, 3, or 4, then just find their check-in desk. Of the 4 resorts we stayed at, the St. Regis and W are the furthest away, both requiring seaplanes. The other 2 are closer, so they swapped the plane for boats. In the case of the Waldorf, they have their own luxury yacht and the journey is about 40 minutes. As of late 2025, it's going to run you north of 1K for the round trip, so $900 per person with a 28.7% tax and service charge. There's not really any way to avoid this. Even if you have Diamond status, this is the cost of admission. It is a nice yacht though, and you'll usually have plenty of space, depending on how many people you're sharing it with. There's 3 stories, and on the top you have the observation deck. This is a great spot to feel the wind in your hair, get some sun, and just enjoy the view. The main deck has plenty of seats, lots of snacks and finger food, and also free-flowing champagne. Nothing too crazy, but it's a decent spread for a pretty short ride. On the bottom level is the bedroom. This is perfect if you want to take a nap or if you want to relax for a bit. This does tend to go first, especially since there's a lot of honeymooners. As you get closer to the island, you'll see the Overwater villas pop into view one by one. I think the plane shot is still more iconic, but this is still beautiful and a great way to start the stay. The arrival is pretty well polished. The team meets you at the jetty with cold towels and a welcome drink and deal with all the luggage. Next, you hop in a buggy with your butler and they take you along the boardwalk and point out the spa, dining options, and the breakfast venue. Basically a TLDR of the property. The check-in happens in villa and is super relaxed. Otherwise, welcome to your home for the next few days. I'm going to start off with the view because people always ask about this, and we do have a sunset room and an amazing view. Some hammocks if you want to lay on them, and they're surprisingly comfortable compared to some of the other properties. Doing a quick pan of the rest of the room, you can see how gigantic it is, and there's also a pool right over there. This is going to be for 2 people, and for most of the other rooms that you see on this property, so even the rooms that are not over water, they are going to be similar size, and it's a pretty good experience. It's pretty grand. Some seats over here, and then that's going to be the door that leads into the general area, so the rest of the bungalows. Entrance over here. We'll head back to the pool in a second, but I figured I'd show off this part first. The island is gigantic. It's pretty much all the way through, and we did a GoPro test. If you take a buggy, so the little carts, from here to the main lobby, it's 7 minutes. I'd recommend calling a buggy or using the bikes. You have a little cool swing over here if you want to enjoy the view. And also here is the gigantic pool. Some little birds, and this is going to be very stupid. That's going to be the ladder to get into the water, and you can see the darker water over there. That's going to be the deep part. This is going to be the shallow parts. Other guests did mention seeing dolphins today, so I might try to head out there before it gets completely dark if I can finish off this video. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to enjoy the sunset just because this is beautiful. And that was a pretty awesome sunset. On this side is going to be a shower area that you can use if you want to rinse off after going into the ocean. But we'll start off from the main door because I think it looks a lot more epic. A little sneak peek of what is inside, and I think you can tell that this place is gigantic. And it is only meant for 2 people, so you have a lot of room to sprawl around and enjoy yourself. First thing you'll notice is going to be how long the building is, as well as the super high ceilings. Over here is going to be your water, your coffee, as well as any other items you want. Pricing is over here if you want to pause it. We'll probably be sticking with the water and the coffee. Lots of different choices for coffee, as well as teas. And over here we have a Mandy sobering up from happy hour before dinner time.
I'm having coffee time right now.
Coffee time with Mandy. We have this desk area with a bunch of different welcome amenities. So actually some fancy rosé, which is pretty unusual compared to a lot of other hotels who typically have $5 bottle of wines. Some dessert items as well, and also a fruit basket over here. And a computer over here working to back up some stuff. On this side, you have this gigantic couch area. You could probably fit 4 people here very comfortably, and this gigantic TV. Mandy, can you stand in front of the TV? Yeah, pretty big TV. A lot of different cool light fixtures. I actually didn't even know this one until just right now. Pretty new property, so there are going to be a ton of different buttons you can press to do pretty much everything that you want. Over here, we have another gigantic TV, which I think is about the same size, and it feels like it's a 65-inch one. You have 2 different chairs over here that are very comfortable if you want to watch the sunset or if you just want to enjoy the view without having to actually sit outside, especially if you're overheating. Another little area over here that has the hairdryer, and the bed is going to be right over here. I'm pretty impressed by this room and how they're using all the space. The only other ones that I've been into that are this big tend to be for more people, so this is a big thumbs up for me. So if you think of that as the living room and this as the bedroom, we have the bathroom. Or I guess this is the closet first, and this is very cool. So it's going to be a view of underneath the bungalow, and you can see a bunch of fish right now. There's actually a lot of really big fish at night, which we didn't really see during the day, and I'm guessing they're over here because it's a bit warmer now. Closet over here, which has a sensor for activation for the lights, and on this side we have a safe, a bag that you can bring around the property, scale, and also some shoes, and ironing board if you need to iron anything, some robes if you want to lounge around. The final part of it is going to be this bathroom area, which is similarly impressive. You have this tub over here as well as sink in front. So the tub is surprisingly big, and I like that it's kind of a unique shape. You also have a view of the outside, like all of the other little sections. So a pretty big tub, and you could probably fit 2 people very comfortably, or you can have a lot of space to sprawl out for yourself. There's also some bath salts as well as a bunch of other body wash and pretty much everything else you expect. Yeah, pretty big egg-shaped tub. Currently still have my snorkel in here because I was washing off a bit of the salt water. And one cool thing is that some of the items are going to be from Ferragamo, which I didn't really even realize made soap. So Tuscan Soul by Ferragamo. So some very fancy soap if that's your thing. The remaining amenities though seem like the normal white label stuff that most of the other high-end hotels use. The container here looks really cool and yeah, very well designed. Over here we have a toilet, so step on in. It is going to be a smart toilet with a bidet over here and pretty cool little system. If you've been to Japan or some other countries, you might have used one of these before. More stuff by Ferragamo, and also a pretty intense looking shower. Even this one has 4 different modes. If you want to change the mode, there's 4 different options. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that before. This is one of the most expensive hotels in the Maldives. During shoulder season, it could easily run north of 3K. During peak season, it could be closer to 4.5K per night. I've seen it cheaper in 2022 and 2023, but it's mostly a function of supply and demand. Maybe I'm crazy, but there seems to be a strong correlation with how the markets are doing. My recommendation is to visit during shoulder season. Think October and November. You might get a bit of rain or overcast, but it's usually nice otherwise. You also get less crowds, meaning that it's easier to find availability on points, and usually a bit cheaper if you're paying out of pocket. Also personally, I prefer some varied weather versus it being scorching hot every day. During shoulder season, it might be 2.4K as the base rate, and then after taxes and fees, you're looking at about 3.2K. Using points, it's 250K per night for standard room space, with no taxes or fees on the rate. This means that you're typically locking in north of 1 cent per point, which is great value for an amazing hotel. You want to find standard room space. Your best bets are during periodic award space drops or last minute as people cancel. Also, if you have Hilton Free Night Rewards, those work with standard space. This is the best use case of these certificates given the value and the fact that the points price can keep going up. On that note, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you're looking to pay out of pocket, consider a VIP booking portal like Cardonomics. Run the numbers to make sure that the math works, but you'll often see a similar all-in cost, but with added perks like credits. It can definitely be hit or miss, but worth checking prices, especially if it means you get a free meal or upgrade for the same cost. If you're interested, I'll link to it down below with the current password. One of the cool perks for Diamond Elite members is the daily complimentary happy hour. This is going to be at Peacock Alley from 4 to 5 p.m. There's a wide range of wine, beer, and cocktails, also non-alcoholic drinks as well. During our stay, they ran a light afternoon tea with fruit, mini sandwiches, and small cakes. From my understanding, they've shifted to a simple bowl of nuts, so your mileage may vary. But yeah, great experience and well worth the pit stop before dinner. Even if you don't want to eat or drink, it's worth hanging out for the great live music and the overall vibe. If you have Diamond status, this is a great daily ritual during your stay. Speaking of dining options, the Waldorf offers a ton of choices. This ranges from relaxed beachside meals to elevated fine dining in the treetops. Starting at the beginning of the day, you have Tasting Table. This is the main venue for the breakfast spread each morning. I'll do a deeper dive later, but it's not bad and does the job. It also runs dinner service on select theme nights rather than running every night. Heading into the afternoon, you have Nava. This is the pool and beach club with DJs, pizzas, and snacks. It's the easy casual choice between swims or after a snorkel. The Ledge is Dave Pint's wood-fire playground, known for bold, smoky flavors. This is perfect poolside for lunch, and they also run a dinner service in the evenings. Outside of happy hour, Peacock Alley is the open-air lounge for afternoon tea and evening cocktails. It works well whether you want to feel fancy in the afternoon or you want a late-night wind down. Amber is the beachfront champagne bar timed to golden hour and sunset. The main draw is the view, a glass of champagne, and small bites. There's something about sunsets in the Maldives that feel more magical than normal. Heading into dinner, Glow leans Mediterranean with seasonal garden-driven dishes in a greenhouse setting. It's the light, clean option when you want a reset. Yasmin serves Levant cuisine in a rustic village setting by the sea. Fresh saj bread and charcoal grilled meats carry most of the meal. We heard great things but couldn't get a reservation during our stay, so well worth booking beforehand. The Rock hosts intimate wine-paired dinners around a stone-walled cellar table. Think fixed menus designed around the bottles in the cellar. Terra is a treetop dining experience focused on tasting menus and pairings. The bamboo pods and high vantage point make it a special occasion pick. This is their most famous restaurant with the price tag to boot. The set menu runs close to $400 per person. I don't mind spending money on food, and I'm happy to pay for technique, innovation, or ingredients. I'm less inclined to pay purely for location though. Maybe I'm crazy, but for that price, I'd rather go to French Laundry or have 2 meals at Lazy Bear. Zuma brings the brand's contemporary izakaya to an overwater setting at night. Think sushi from the counter and rabata highlights for a date night feel. Li Long is the resort's modern Chinese restaurant known for Peking duck. The duck is roasted in a classic wood-fired oven and carved tableside. On our first night, we had dinner at Li Long. There's a set menu and also a la carte. As you'd expect, the prices are at a premium. Think 30-something for fried rice and 50 to 85 for most mains. Their signature is the wood-fired Beijing duck. We ordered a half duck at close to $100. My problem wasn't the price, but taste relative to price. It was okay and fine, but it didn't blow me away. I've had a lot of Chinese food growing up and have eaten my fair share of ducks, and this felt thoroughly unremarkable. I've had better duck for a third of the price. Again, I'm not angry at the price, just disappointed in the taste. We also added stir-fried noodles, which landed below expectations. There was no real wok hei, the searing heat and smoky breath of the wok that usually makes the dish. For context, we were at neighboring Holiday Inn, and they had some of the best and most memorable Chinese food I've ever had. This just felt lacking to me, and I expected stronger execution. We also weren't alone in this thought process. A neighboring table, also with other Chinese people, had similar thoughts. After waking up early in the morning for some sunrise photography and a nice bike ride before everyone got up, it was time for breakfast. As mentioned, the Tasting Table is the all-day restaurant at the resort with high ceilings and sliding glass doors. Depending on how busy it is, they let you choose between indoor comfort or outdoor terrace seating. It's spacious, airy, and sets a relaxed tone before you dive into your day. The breakfast buffet spread is solid. It covers Western classics, Chinese staples, and Indian flavors all in one place. You'll find bacon and hash browns, roasted vegetables, and the standard breakfast eggs and pastries. There's also a made-to-order noodle bar where you can customize your bowl, which makes a nice change of pace. If you lean healthy, the salad bar is solid. Fresh fruits, cold-pressed juices, yogurt, and granola stations are all there. It's easy to build a clean plate and start your day light. All in, I'd say the breakfast spread is good. It hits the major categories and gives you plenty of choice. With that said, it does feel a bit lacking compared to other luxury hotels like the St. Regis. For what it is though, it does the job well. Taking a look at the property itself, this is a big hotel. There's 119 villas across the 3 interconnected islands, and they'll usually accommodate between 250 to 300 guests. Despite the room count, the large footprint means that you might not run into people outside of meal service. Each villa has a private pool, and there's even a separate private island product if you're a VVIP. Every room includes bikes, so you can ride the boardwalks at your own pace. If you prefer, the concierge can call a buggy and shuttle you anywhere. Be aware that there's only so many buggies. During breakfast or dinner, expect a 15 to 30 minute wait since everyone else is also calling one. If you don't mind, I'd recommend biking. It's one of the most beautiful rides you can take, and it means you can control your day a lot better. Maybe it's a me thing, but I hate the idea of waiting if I can just walk or bike. Also, if you're curious, going from end to end, you're looking at about 13 minutes at a good pace. Probably 15 if you're riding less aggressively, and maybe 10 if you're not trying to hold a camera while doing it. Your mileage may vary, but I think it's a lot of fun. I usually do a lap or 2 every day, with sunrise and sunset being the most photogenic. It's a great way to enjoy the breeze in your hair and soak in the scenery. The spa sits on its own island and focuses on quiet restorative treatments. You can book massages and a range of therapies in a calm, natural setting. It's an easy reset day if you need one. The fitness center is in the Ocean Pavilion and stays open 24 hours. You'll find techno gym machines, free weights, and a dedicated yoga room. There's also paid classes you can book if you prefer structure. Tennis players are in luck with a beautiful on-site court and also optional coaching. It's a good way to break up beach days and still get a workout. Also, we were a few days off, but Serena Williams was there a week before us and apparently had a tennis clinic. The beachfront water sports desk handles kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, and pedal boats. Other activities run through the team as well, with additional charges based on what you book. It can get pretty toasty, so if you're prone to sunburns like I am, I'd recommend some UV shirts. There's 2 main pools, a family pool with an infinity edge, and an adults only option. Most guests spend time at their own villa pools, so the shared areas stay quiet. There's also a kids club with a splash pad and a small water park, which can be a safe way for kids to still enjoy the water. Maybe this has changed, but the pool zones felt eerily quiet during our stay. I wasn't expecting a ton of people, but a few more staff. Unlike other hotels, there didn't seem to be water stations. In contrast, the W was offering us complimentary ice cream and drinks. They also didn't have complimentary sunscreen. Again, pretty common with the other resorts we went to, and here you're stuck going to the gift shop, paying $50 for it. It's not the biggest deal, but just little things that I feel could be easily improved upon. The main draw of the Maldives for me is unlimited access to snorkeling. I grew up swimming 2 days a week, and I was a lifeguard back in high school, so I really love the water. I don't have a pool at home, so travel is the only time I get to swim. Snorkel gear is provided free of charge for all guests. Some people mentioned that they delivered it, but for our stay, we had to pick it up ourselves. I easily spend 2 to 3 hours a day snorkeling, and I have a great time doing it. We also snorkel when we go to other places like Mexico, but usually you're paying a few $100 for the excursion, and you might only get 30 to 90 minutes in the water. Here you can dive in when you wake up, also midday when player 2 is napping, and even at night if you have lights. We were on the ocean side with the drop-off, which is definitely a different experience than the reef side. The current is stronger and the depth changes fast, so you get that dramatic blue gradient and open ocean feel right off your villa. It's less about spotting small reef fish and more about the sense of space. You can sometimes see rays or bigger fish cruising through. It feels raw and powerful, especially at sunrise or just before sunset when the light hits the water perfectly. For excursions, we decided to try a fishing trip since it's not something we'd normally do at home. We took off at sunset and it was a nice cruise into the ocean. It turns out that it was handline fishing, so a new experience for me. They taught us how to hook the bait and catch some fish. There were times I thought I caught something big, but apparently I just snagged into rocks. It took a few tries, but we did end up catching a few. What's cool about this excursion is that you can pay a premium, and they'll have the restaurant cook some fish for you in any style that you choose. You hook them and we cook them. You do have to sign a waiver saying that if you get sick, it's not their fault since the fish isn't from their usual supply chain and quality control. Since we caught a few, we selected 4 fishes for dinner and asked the chef to prepare them a few ways. We had the fish sashimi, fish soup, steamed Chinese style, and grilled. I would highly recommend this excursion, especially since you can eat what you catch, and it's definitely one of our favorite memories from the trip. If you're booking on points or Hilton Free Night Rewards, the Waldorf Astoria Maldives is a strong value play. The hard product is excellent. The standard villas are large, modern, and thoughtfully designed. They set a high bar for the Maldives. This was easily the nicest standard room we've stayed at in any hotel in the world. Service was mixed during our stay. Small misses added up over a few days. At this price point, you expect their teams to be on top of stuff. One of the best examples of this is excursions. At the St. Regis, our butler knew our schedule and was there ready to pick us up afterwards. Here we had to wait 10 minutes at the dock to get picked up and debated walking. If we biked over initially, I probably would have just biked back, but I'm pretty sure it was a 30-minute walk. Breakfast was solid given the quality and range of food. You can nitpick here, but it met expectations. Also, if you have Diamond status, I think the happy hour is a nice touch for free drinks and snacks, and also just the vibes. On-property dining gets expensive, especially at the signature venues. Go into it expecting to pay a premium, or go for the more casual options that are more reasonably priced. Overall, I'd still happily recommend the Waldorf Astoria, especially if you're going on points or free night rewards. If you want to learn more about cards to get these points or free night rewards, we have links on the website asksebby.com and down below in the description box. If you're paying out of pocket, I'd strongly recommend mapping out the prices with a VIP portal like Cardonomics. I'll link to that down below with the current password. If you made it to this point, leave a fishing emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions: what are your thoughts on the Waldorf Astoria Maldives? When traveling, are you more focused on the hard product or service? Lastly, what's your budget for meals for these types of trips? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor thumbs up, share this, but otherwise, hope you liked it. See you on the road.